So, well, let's get into where did you go fishing this weekend?
We went to Lake Fort Phantom Hill. It was about 10 miles north. Well, it's not quite that far, but north of Abilene, Texas. And we fished there the last couple of years. I think maybe 2 years now. This is our third. In any case, it's one of the smaller lakes we fish, but a really good lake. They have a lot of good fish, a lot of healthy fish. We're going to see some of those here in a minute on the screen. But ended up having 6 teams go. Thought we were going to have 8 or 9, but some of them had to back out. So we had 6. It was a team tournament, and we had 6 teams. And for the most part, caught a lot of fish. Yesterday was tougher for some of the teams in terms of fish numbers, but better for some of the teams. So it was just kind of a mixed bag, but had a great tournament. And we can look at the pictures, and I'll go over the results as well here on the radio. So, and some of these are just individual pictures because I believe that's Lisa Rutherford, and I think that was a personal best for her. It was a 4.9 pounder, so I just added. I took a separate picture, even though it was a team tournament. So great fish for Lisa. And you can go ahead to the next picture.
Click.
That was new members to our club this year. Well, a new member, and then he had a guest, his girlfriend. That was Landon Denton and Samantha Bailey. And they ended up not fishing day 2. He sent me a text yesterday morning and said, we're running late. I don't know if they had an issue. And then they didn't show, so I don't know if they had an issue or what. But that was day 1. They had a couple of fish. That is David Rutherford, Lisa's husband. And that was the one on the left, his left hand, was the big bass of the day.
Oh, wow.
And that was a 6.5 pounder. So a good fish for David. It was a great fish, 6.5 pounder. That's Mark Willever on the right, Terry Tidwell on the left, and that was their day 1 catch. So they had a full bag. That was an example of something, and I'll kind of talk about it at the end of the pictures, but they had 5 fish on day 1, and that was their bag, Terry and Mark. Those were our eventual winners, and they had a full bag on day 1 as well. But I think that's their day 1 picture. But that's David Watkins on the left and Jed Singletary on the right. They're new members to our club this year. We had pictures of them for the last tournament, so everybody out there watching may remember that. That was me. That was 3.1 pounder that I caught.
Okay.
And we took that picture out on the lake, so I threw it in just to have it's not but just to show you. I was out on the water. I just caught it.
To prove
that I can catch a fish.
You can catch a fish.
Yeah. Something like that. That was Andrew and I. My son Andrew on the left, or on the right if you're looking at it, and I'm on the left. That was our day 1. We only had 3 keepers on day 1. So we weren't quite as productive. I had one break my line, and Andrew had one get off. Or a couple. We should have had a bag, but a full limit, but we only had 3.
Yeah, I guess that happens from time to time.
It does. Terry Tidwell was Mark's partner, and that was their day 2. So I wanted to say that they only caught 1 keeper on Sunday, so it was really windy, and I think that was part of it. But I'm not sure because some of the other guys still caught limits. So Terry Tidwell, they just had 1 fish, so he took the picture. So that was their Sunday catch, and then that's day 2. That's Sunday, and that's David on the right, David Watkins, and on the left, Jed Singletary, if you're looking at your screen. And they had a 5-fish limit again. And the big one in David's right hand was it was a 6.8 pounds. So that was the big fish of the weekend.
Wow. That's quite a
But it was
catch.
a nice, really, really nice fish, yeah. And so that was their day 2 limit, and they ended up winning, which I'll go over the results in a minute. They won the tournament. That's Mark Willever. He caught that fish, and you can see that is a big fish. Now, that's not a black bass.
Okay.
That is a hybrid. That is between a striper and a white bass. They call them what did they say? Swipers. A white and a striper. That was a 12.2. We didn't weigh it. We weighed it, but it didn't count towards the tournament.
Right.
But that was a 12.2 swiper.
That's
a big fish. Yeah, it really was.
So did that go back in the lake?
No, those we keep. David and Lisa like to fillet them and eat them. So they keep the whites usually, or crappie if we catch crappie. And on the left there's Jeff Houghtaling. On the right's my dad Jerry. That's my brother Jeff. And they were a perfect example. On Saturday, they didn't catch a keeper. No fishing. They're good fishermen. And then on Sunday, they caught 4, but you can see they're all really nice sized. They went from being in last place to jumping past everybody to second.
Wow.
Because the other guys that were in second, third, fourth, fifth all had more fish on Saturday. They didn't have any. And there's Jeff, just an individual of his 2 fish. His big one was a 4.6 pounder on Sunday. Anyway, they jumped because everybody else kind of went down except Jed and David. They caught another limit, so they stayed in first. And then that's Jerry, my dad, with the 2 fish he caught. So they both caught 2 apiece, I think. And his big one was his was a 4.6. Jeff was a 4.8. So they almost 5 pounders.
Wow.
So some nice fish. And then that was Lisa yesterday. So there's the example. Lisa Rutherford and David Rutherford, her husband, had on day 1 they had 3 fish, but they were really good, and they were sitting in second place on day 1. Then they only caught the 1 fish on day 2, which was a good one. It was well, no, it wasn't either. It was only one. I don't know. Anyway, they went from being in second place to third because their 2-day total, Jeff and Dad jumped them.
Right.
They went from 6th to second with their bag on Saturday. Was that all the pictures?
I'm guessing that's all.
That must have been all of them. All
yeah.
right. So the finals went like this. David Watkins and Jed Singletary ended up winning the tournament. Their day 1 total was 16.3 pounds with 5 fish, and day 2 total was 5 fish again, 20.2 pounds. They had that's a great limit on any lake when you average 4 pounds per fish. So their 2-day total for the tournament was 36.5 pounds, and they won first place, kind of going away because they had everybody double plus. Jeff and Jerry Houghtaling ended up winning second with a 0 first-day total, but a second-day total of 15.4.
Wow.
So their bag on Sunday, and it wasn't even a full limit. It was just 4 fish. It was 4 out of the 5 possible. And then third place was David and Lisa. So they had the 3 pretty big fish, the 6.5er and the 4.9, Lisa's personal best. Day 1 total was 13.2. Day 2 total was 1 fish, 1.8. So they ended up being a third at 15 even. So, and then fourth place was Mark and Terry, and the same thing. They caught a limit, 5 fish on Saturday, and it was 12 pounds. And then on Sunday, they only caught 1 fish. They caught that 12-pound swiper, but that didn't count.
Yeah.
And so on day 2, they caught 1. It was 2.6. So their total for the 2 days was 14.6. Andrew and I caught the 3 for 5.6 on Saturday, and then only caught 1 yesterday, keeper. So our total, we finished 5th, 8.4 pounds. And then the aforementioned Landon Denton and Samantha Bailey, they were unable to fish yesterday, and I'm not sure why. Maybe they had boat problems or something. But they had a day 1 total of 6.2, and so their total for the tournament was 6.2. So really, kind of like I said, kind of a mixed bag. I mean, we had 4 teams with over 15 pounds for the weekend. 1 team with 36.5. Just a tremendous 2-day total, really, for any lake. I mean, and Fort Phantom Hill obviously can produce them. So a great tournament. A good turnout. Again, I'd really love to have 9 or 10 boats, but for various reasons, you notice Coach Johnson wasn't in there. He had stuff he had to take care of, and other guys that are in our club weren't able to go. But good tournament.
Yeah, well, and it helps to, try to get as many folks out as you can.
Yeah.
To do that, and then the other thing it kind of shows is that even if you have a crappie first day, sorry, bad fish joke.
No, I understand.
But you can come back and have.
I understood it, but now you're saying bad fish joke. I think everybody picked up on that.
I don't know, but you could have an off first day and still come back
and getting the money. We paid 2 places, and my dad and Jeff were able to do that. Yeah. And it was because the other teams all kind of had a down day, with the one exception. David Watkins and Jed Singletary just slayed them. They had 2 really good days. But yeah, Dad and Jeff were able to catch, and only in a 4-fish bag, too. They just had some nice sized fish, and jumped all the way from last to second and got in the money. So I'm sure they were tickled yesterday,
Yeah.
They had a great day.
Now, of all the tournaments you have scheduled, was that number 2 or number 3?
That was number 2. We had 3, but the first one we had to cancel due to the weather that week in Texas. Well,
right.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
But so our next tournament coming up is in May. It's the last weekend in May, and I think, anyway, we're going to be at Lake Stamford in Texas. Stamford Lake is what it's called, and it's a first for our club to go fish that one, so I'm looking forward to it. It's also known as one of those West Texas lakes that really produces well, so we're excited about getting to fish at Stamford next month in May.
Okay.
And so anybody out there that may want to join and fish our tournaments, we'd love to have you. The best way to do it is to go to pvbm.club, Pecos Valley Bassmasters.club, and there's a join tab, and I double-checked it. It's still working. I mean, I don't look at that. But if you click on join, it's going to auto-populate a PDF that is fillable. So you can actually just type in your information, and then you can email that to, and it gives all the instructions on what to do, but you email it to Pecos Valley Bassmasters at hotmail.com. And then I'll send you an invoice for your club dues, and then you'll be a club member, and you can fish any of the tournaments.
And that includes the New Mexico tournaments that your club has, but it also includes the national representation.
Yeah, so we have 3 different levels in our club dues are $90 annually.
Okay.
But that $90 includes our club fee of $40, the New Mexico Bass Nation, which is the state level, of $20, and the BASS, which is the national level, of $30. So a total of $90 to join our club. And then you're automatically then eligible to fish any New Mexico Bass Nation tournament because you're now a member of that next level organization, and any BASS tournament that you can fish that they open to the public.
Yeah.
I'm going to Milford Lake, Junction City, Kansas, this Saturday. I made the New Mexico Bass Nation team kind of by default. I finished 11th. I've shared this before, but they take the top 10 boaters and top 10 non-boaters, and I went as a non-boater back in February to Possum Kingdom to try to make the team, and there was a couple of guys that made the team in front of me, but they couldn't go. So I moved up. I'm number 9, and I made the team. And so we're going to be in Kansas this coming Saturday through the following Saturday, so about 8-9 days, representing New Mexico.
That sounds exciting.
It is, and there's 2 members of our club. Jeremy Fuentes is a member of our club, and he's also the president this year for New Mexico Bass Nation. Of course, I'm the member of our club, and I'm the president of our club, and then I'm the secretary-treasurer for New Mexico Bass Nation. So we're representing, and we have been the last 3 or 4 years when we started fishing New Mexico Bass Nation again as a club. I'm trying to think. Lee made the team a couple of times. Lee Johnson is a non-boater. Mike Hill has made the team 3 consecutive years. Didn't make it this year, but he was on 3 consecutive teams. Jeremy Fuentes has made it a couple times, including this year, and Jimmy Faulkner made it at least one time. So those are club members of ours that have represented the Pecos Valley Bassmasters at the state level, and then got to go on to the regionals. And so this year, I was fortunate enough to make it as a non-boater, and Jeremy as a boater, and so we're representing Eddy County, or southeast New Mexico, and Pecos Valley Bassmasters will be there. If we happen to finish in the top 10 there, either one of us, then we go to the national championships, which will be later this year. So we'll see how it goes. But
that sounds exciting. So Monday, so for 1 week from today, you're going to be in Kansas.
I won't be here. That was another reason I brought it up, and I also won't be here for which we've talked about, but for the games, for Bulldog games. But
well, if you're fishing, that's fine. But if you're also by your phone or computer, we could also do a Zoom call too. So
we could. I mean, we can Monday morning possibly.
Whatever your schedule is.
Yeah, I could do it on the lake. I'll be fishing, but I can pull it up on the lake and take 15 minutes next Monday morning and show you the lake. We may do that. Good idea.
We might just try that if it works out.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds great. And then when you get back from Kansas, there'll be some other things that we can talk about here in New Mexico. I'll be kind of curious to see if the Carlsbad Irrigation District does a water call.
Yeah.
What that's going to do to the waterways upstream from them, because they're going to get the water regardless.
And it's going to make it low because we're in a drought for so long.
They've got to, when they call it, they get it. So it's going to make it even, despite the governor or in spite of the governor, you still may not have enough water.
Well, our club is not going to fish any New Mexico. We've made the decision this week. We're not going to fish any New Mexico lakes this year.
Okay.
So
that's too bad.
Yeah.
But next year.
Next year.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Joby.
Yep.
And good luck fishing.